Hey there. I have a Sony CRF-5100. As you can see here, this is kind of a beast. You know, it's pretty heavy. Now I have the 8 AA batteries in it. I'll give you a size reference here. So this is just a can of, you know, regular duster, right? And so you can see kind of the size of this thing in comparison to that. It's pretty big. So I don't know how well of a size reference that was. I put some blue tape on the end of here just because at night, if I have this antenna up, I would rather walk into this than the sharp end. One thing while I'm here talking about the antenna, this has a kind of like a ball bearing type of thing in it to where when you adjust the antenna, it will lock every 90 degrees, which is kind of cool. And you can spin it as many times, you know, it's within a mount, so it's not gonna twist some wire off or anything like that. It extends a pretty good length as well. I'm just gonna keep that out of the way. The band selector is here. The bottom, by the way, just looks like that. It's metal here. Underneath the metal there's wood, and if you should ever need to get those off, just for anyone doing it, it's like a 5.5 millimeter. You'll need a real small little socket or wrench. But anyway, there is, by the way, for anybody who wants to do service on these, there is a published thing, maybe I'll put a link to it, for the service manual, and it shows you how to remove the chassis. I did watch you know, someone kind of struggling through, and I even struggled through a bit myself when I was doing it before I found the service manual, but found someone struggling through to get you know, the thing taken apart. Here you can see I've got batteries in. But the service manual tells you exactly what you need, and it's you do have to desolder, just FYI. You're gonna have to pull the antenna off, and then also when you pull this back part off, there's just let's see, 4 screws, 2 under here, and then there's this one. That one can stay, but this one does have to come off. When that comes off, there's wires that you'll have to desolder for the battery power as well. But you can see here, FM, air, and public service band antenna connections, shortwave, medium wave, and long wave, and then a ground. Does have foam here. Now this foam is okay. I put these batteries in last night, and when I just removed this, you know, you can maybe see there's still like some, see those little lines right there? That's, you know, from the space in the batteries. So the foam is, you know, being you know, it is pressing in and kind of holding the form. It's not disintegrating, but I don't know how long it will last, so just a FYI on that. I did not get the power cord. I'll have to do some checking on that. But it's interesting, it almost seems like a couple of the wires from this 4-pin power cord go over here to the battery. So I guess what I would speculate, if that is true, is that maybe that could charge batteries if you have chargeable batteries in here. I don't really know. But anyway, don't hold me to that. Just you know that this is a recording out right here. And then these, when this goes on, these actually push in to lock, right? It has a pull open little thing that was stamped in, or, you know, molded in, I guess, when they molded this. Nice big handle, just goes the one way, doesn't go backwards. And then the flap here, so that comes down and then tucks in. It has a sliding time zone thing, so I'm in Central Time right now, and it's what? It's close to 12, just after. So I'm gonna go and move Central Time to 12, and then we get the span from, you know, where 1 a.m. is all the way to midnight here. And if you notice, the continents are duplicated on here, so that, you know, if we're at, like, you know, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, you know, you can see basically where in South America it's you know, midnight or whatever. So you have your major your tuner right here, and then your fine tuning here, right? So I've tried to look, you can't really see this fine tuner move, the dial, but this one you can. You got on-off switch, a squelch, which doesn't work for AM, by the way, so some of the bands that's not going to do anything with. BFO, which gives you the woo, kind of the warbly, cool sound, but RF gain, it's got an automatic setting, or you can dial it in. I found a couple of stations, especially the more faint ones, me dialing it in, I could kind of get it to where it sounded better than if I had it on automatic. But the automatic seemed to work fine for a local station that came in really clear. Tone high and low, as you normally would guess, and then volume. This here is AFO. Oh, I got a battery about to run out here. I'm going to stop this. Okay, pick it up where I left off. Fresh batteries in the camera, other batteries now on the charger, and we are good to proceed. I'm just going to show you real quick. I was just thinking about this a second ago, just for a close-up of that. It's pretty cool. So since I was going over the dial here, I'll also mention these. There are 4 of these small sliders here. I'm going to bring this up too. So if you find a station, you know, and you want to remember where it is, you've got those. You got 4. This one I have marked on about 1510, which is the station I was listening to Coast to Coast AM last night on, and I may end up playing some clips from that with this. I don't know. Also, I really like that they call this the Earth Orbiter. It's a cool name. This is metal. This is nice. This one here is in good shape. Earphone jack here. So again, in the back you had you know, an output. Here you've got for headphones. Haven't tried that yet. I'm sure it works fine. I'm gonna go ahead and power this on just to get something happening here. And I'm gonna retune my station.
And it's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure to hear you. You know, it is for me too.
Now, as you notice, when this tunes and it finds a station, the LED lights up. So don't expect that to be on all the time.
Then you see this person who has dissipated their life.
Now notice too the right there, got that dial, that or the needle for the tuning meter. It shows you, you know, how strong it is. So a little ZZ Top. Oh, wait, no, this is Miami Vice. Yeah, sorry, not ZZ Top. I heard that rhythm. It sounded like the legs, I guess, but no, Miami Vice theme. There you go. Interesting, picking up some music stations that aren't, you know, specific to what you normally find on AM. Oh, let me show you this, by the way. So RF gain right now is not on manual, but click it on there. So I usually find there's a sweet spot to where it's not too gainy, it's not distorting the speaker or anything, and it keeps the background noise at bay. Got bright and more bassy tone. As you can see, squelch, not doing anything. And then this one's fun. I don't know, to me that's just kind of fun.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway.
But I know it's useful on some of the other bands. Just saying, you know, for the sake of that, it's fun. One thing that I did not do, and you can hear when I turn the volume, one thing that I did not do yesterday when I was in here is I didn't clean the pots, so I should have done that.
95. From UFOs to government conspiracies, the world is full of the stuff they don't want you to know.
Here's where it gets crazy.
If you found a GPS device on your vehicle, would you remove it or would you just leave it there?
No, you put it on another vehicle. That's obvious.
Each episode dives deep.
So I'm going to go ahead and tune the dials. Now, here's the thing. If anybody watching this knows anything about these, inside there are some toothed round gears that move a strip, and they move the strip that has teeth on it, and there's 3 of them, right? So, you know, let's say that we're looking, you know, at the back, at the circuit board here, you'll see, you know, a bunch of points. But if you're looking in through this direction, particularly like this direction here, you'll see that the gears are spinning on a shaft this way. They all 3 move at the same time, and then they slide the straight toothed gear up and down, and they do that so that they all slide together. That plastic is really brittle. The gears that this turn with and that these things turn with, you know, basically the dial string that all that happens with, those are made out of the white nylon, is what I'm guessing that is, right? But they're made, and that's strong, it's resilient. The ones that are on that shaft, right, the gears along with the toothed strip, I think they call it a rotary slide, the teeth are brittle and they break. And my understanding from seeing a little bit online of these is people say, oh, you know, lubricate those. Or lubricate the dial. I think they say the dial switch or something like that, but regardless, those things probably need lubrication too, because I'm guessing that it was sticky and had enough tension that when you turned this band selector, probably too because it's kind of a bump, it's a clunky bump, bump, bump kind of thing, that it just broke those, right? They didn't stand the test of time. So right now I can use AM, and let me make sure I go the right way. Yeah, so I can actually go into the shortwave, right? 2, 3. I'm gonna have this on actually. I haven't messed with these. But you know, you can hear there. Let me just do a quick scan, see if I get anything here. RF gain's much better with that. I'd be curious to find out where that's from. But yeah, it's not helping there either. Anyway,
Under the guise of the New World Order, is going to go through turmoil, destruction, death, and dying. Such as mankind has never seen.
Your major population centers wherein sin has been to the degree that it is almost impossible to find a righteous.
Maybe I'll zoom this in a little bit. So I was just kind of going through this, wasn't paying attention to what was being shown or not.
Organized criminal practices.
Anyway, I don't actually know how to use this. I'll have to research to find out when that sort of thing applies.
I can remind you of one of the other destruction that's coming.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'd have to even find out, you know, how true is it with, you know, the frequencies it's picking up, some other radio or something to confirm. But I am okay with it just kind of covering the AM for now. Now, I can't go to, maybe I can go to FM, and maybe it's the other band where I start to get into the bad zone, but I don't want to get into the, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to take this thing apart again, so I'm going to pretty much limit it here.
Line of the story. The Democrats had no
Believing, repenting, confessing.
Is the need inside of you to be in relationship with other people
that is shared, which is a... Learn more about us at Wallboozer.
I've already gone for this one, so... Anyway, if I end up getting back into this one, which taking this off isn't so bad. If you don't know how to do it, it seems like it's nearly impossible. But it's actually not that bad, so I think I can get in there and clean these pots up, which I will. I'll show you how it's kind of resting like this. But it seems heavy to pull this way, so my thought is just to avoid extra shock. That's probably not the best thing to do unless you had something to brace it. It doesn't want to fall backwards. It's definitely front heavy when like this, but you know, you can see it's bouncing. I will see if I can find another antenna. It's really easy to take out. One screw, and then the spot on the board, it's a white wire. It runs to a rod marked place on the board, but you just pull the solder at the little loop down at the base of that, and then it's easy to add back. So, you know, to get the chassis out, those two wires for the battery, and then this one, and then the rest is just screws. The front of this pops off. This pops out too, by the way. I don't know if I need to show that, but basically this here, you just kind of pull this thing out, and that'll come out. Pretty simple. You see, it's this kind of push button type thing right there, to where you just pull right here and that'll do it. But yeah, you know, a couple screws in the sides, some screws in the back. When you get the battery, you do have to take this back panel off, and then there's 4 screws kind of around the perimeter. But if you want to take the board off, much more involved. The service manual will show you that. Basically, you got a whole lot of stuff to unsolder to get to the board for purposes of recapping or anything like that. There is a capacitor list on there too, and it seems like I can't remember, maybe 15 to 30 electrolytics are in here. Not all that bad, but again, getting that board off, that's the time investment there. So this is it. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to address them. If you know a good solution to fix that rotary slide thing, I can't remember what that's called, but if you know a solution for that, let me know. I'm going to be trying to, you know, look and keep stuff in mind. My thought is, if I can find the round parts seem good, the straight toothed ones seem bad. So if I can find a straight toothed type gear that's nylon, I may try and like epoxy that in. I guess I could potentially, you know, make some kind of mold and make one out of epoxy, but that's a little extreme. I'd rather find something. So, all right, there you go. Okay, fellow radio enthusiasts and repair people, got a dilemma here. Here's what we got. If you know this radio, you know it's 10 band, really cool, lots of options. And while looking into this, you know, I was able to get the chassis apart. I found the service manual. You know, so I've got I've got a little more apart than I needed to, but you know, here, let me just kind of go over this. Like I said, you know, you all probably know, if you're looking at this, what these are. So here's my dilemma. If it's electronic, I'd be able to fix it. I'm gonna take a little more light on here. But here's what we're looking at. In here, if you look right here, this is the gear that you can see the teeth stripping on the flat gear underneath the round one. So there are 3 of these. They slide up and down as you turn the dial selector, and those are what need replaced. If you roll this into the section where the teeth are stripped, each of the 3 have stripping happening in different places. So once you pass one, the next one may roll a bit further down, and the next one, actually the one on the furthest right, is actually okay. The 2 on the middle and the left one, right? The 2 on the furthest left, as you're facing them, are the ones where there's more stripping of those teeth. So that is where these things would need to be replaced. Now, so if I would dip down, for example, through FM and down into the other band, the like public service bulletin or whatever, public service band, and I start rolling it back up, the one on the furthest right is going to roll back normally. The one in the middle, after a click or 2, is going to catch. And then the one furthest left, after 3 or 4 clicks, is going to catch. I'm not sure if maybe the that round dial is imperfect. You know, the round toothed one is imperfect, and that's why that's happening. Couldn't tell you. I'm just going by what I saw. They do all eventually catch and start moving the thing, but those sections where they're stripped, it stops, and that causes misalignment of what appears to actually be like a band selector, right? So you'll have the FM stepping on the shortwave, stepping on whatever one, furthest right is on, right? So it depends on kind of where each of them are having experiencing that problem. And it's just not a good experience because you won't be able to roll it back and get them aligned. From that point, they're going to be misaligned. You have to open the case back up in order to straighten them back out. What I had to do is basically I had to kind of roll the dial. There's a little, at the end of it, right at the very bottom, there's a little white indicator on one of the teeth. And you can kind of judge, you see there where the metal opening starts. You can kind of judge based on the spacing from that up where you'll get those aligned. That's all I did. I just put those back kind of in where they were. I used a small screwdriver, flathead obviously, gently slid the teeth in order for them to catch the gears. Then I'd have to roll everything back, and I'd have to move it, in that stripped section, I'd have to move it, the approximation of a couple of teeth. Roll the thing again, all the while manually sliding the two on the left side so that everything stayed until they both caught. And then ultimately, I got them all three aligned. So, but obviously, you want to use all 10 bands with this radio. That's the cool thing about it. Just to be able to use shortwave 1 through 5, and then, 2 to 3 others. Let's get all 10 working. That's my goal with this if I can. So I want to see if anybody's got any solutions apart from what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I can get a nylon gear, flat gear that fits that, I can somehow swap that out, lay it in, figure it out. Don't know how readily available those parts are, but anyway, I think that was just really, maybe they didn't know at the time. When they made this, maybe they didn't know how terrible that plastic was for using in this application. But it's really too bad that the engineers didn't specify that the same material that the band selector's primary gear, right, the ones that the tuning knobs use when moving the dial string. It's too bad they didn't specify that plastic, because if that would have been the case, there would have been nothing wrong with this radio at all. So anyway, that's where we are with it. Thanks for checking this out. I will post an update to this once I get back into it. So if anyone was expecting more, sorry. I'll provide a more comprehensive video later, but this has got a lot anyway, and it's getting quite long. So thanks for checking it out.